specific program, this district summer learning network project that you're working with the Wallace Foundation and FH1 360. The Wallace Foundation has partnered with FH1 360. I'm sorry, I haven't shared my slides with you all. Here we go. Is that better? FH1 360 is partnering with the Wallace Foundation to provide some technical assistance to our districts to make their summer schools a little bit more engaging and more aggressive. So we have decided to work with them as well by funding these projects. We have 15 districts currently operating in the project, and you guys will create a 3-year roadmap that focuses on equity and that is youth-centered and has strong district community partnerships. The Department of Education will provide assistance to the project through the funding we receive through our ARP ESSER state level reserve funds. These are funds that were received by the State Department of Education through the ESSER project to specifically do programs on the state level. Some of you may have already received some state level funding in other grants, but this money is not in any way tied to the 90% you receive for your regular ESSER award. So this is separate from that award and will be tracked and reported on separately as well. Each district will be awarded $225,000 for the budget period from October 1, 2022 through September 30th of 2024. So these funds will be available to you to cover both summer of 2023 and summer of 2024. We're working right now on your grant notifications to get those GANs out to you. You will get 2 GANs. Your first GAN will be for 1/3 of the funds, which is about $75,000. Those funds will be available to you as soon as your GAN is signed and your budget has been loaded and approved in GAPS. You can begin drawing down on those funds. We're doing it this way so that you guys will have access to those funds if you need to pay for any travel for the conference, or if there are any things you need to get prepared or curriculums you may need to buy before the summer gets here. FH1 360 advises that they will be working with you to create a plan or a roadmap there in your district. So we will also be asking that you submit to us a spending plan, much like the plan you guys submitted for your ARP ESSER program. And that will be submitted to us by May 31st. Around the same time, your other report will be submitted to FH1 360. And at that point, once we get those spending plans in, we will issue out to you all the GAN for the remaining 2/3 or $150,000 of your award. Once that GAN is signed and returned back to us and your budget's been uploaded and approved in GAPS, you will have access to the spending of those funds as well. Keep in mind, this is the money that goes through 2024. So you want to make sure you pace yourself as to have enough funding for the summer of 2024 as well. You will be responsible to submit a spending plan that will detail the funds how you will spend the funds in your summer school. You want to include things such as the number of teachers you will hire, the curriculums you will buy, any programs that you will be operating. Be as detailed as you can in those, as you've done in your ESSER spending plan. Also, if you have any other programs currently running and you're going to use these funds to either do a separate program or expand your current programs or open up in another school, make sure you let us know that as well. We like to know how the funds are being used, how we're combining the ESSER funds with other programs as well. So make sure you explain to us, we do have a program at the school. These funds, we're going to either increase the number of students we're serving, change the scope of work, however the funds will impact your current running programs, if that is the case, or if you'll be starting a new program at a different school where there weren't programs previously. Reporting requirements. Everybody loves reporting. There's a separate reporting requirement for this pot of money. It is extremely similar to what you guys are doing now for your current ESSER quarterly reports. The district will report based on when the claims are in GAPS, or when they were submitted and not when they were reimbursed. For example, if you have a claim for quarter 3 and submitted on June 15th, then you will submit that in quarter 4. Okay, so it's when the claim was actually submitted that you make that that report, just like you're doing now in your current ESSER projects. They're still due 5 days after the end of each quarter. And there's a link here for those quarterly reports, and we'll give you that link as well. It's a little bit different than what we have for the regular ESSER. It's a little bit easier, I think, but you will have to report for that as well. And it's due at the same time. These are the dates that they're due. They're 5 days after the close of the quarter. So for you all on this particular project, we will not expect to see a quarterly report until January 5th. Even if you haven't begun spending any money by January 5th, please submit the quarterly report with all zeros. If you do not, then we'll be calling you saying, hey, can we have your quarterly report? So we encourage you, even if there are not any funds spending that quarter, to submit a quarterly report to us, all zeros, or to send us an email that says there's no quarterly report for this particular period. Time and effort, we always bring this up. This is one of the largest problems we've had with ESSER funding when we come out to do our auditing. It is essential that anyone who's being paid from this project maintains a time and effort. So make sure that in your documentation, even though we don't need the documentation back here at the department, we encourage you to have it on file, because that is what the auditors will come in looking for. I can pretty much guarantee you that if your district is audited, that's one of the first things they're going to ask you about is your time and effort. So make sure you're keeping proper documentation of that. And if you need any assistance on that, let us know. I think we'll send to you, when we send out your GANs, we'll send you a link for the proper documentation that should be kept for these funds, and this will be included in that. If you have any questions on time and effort, not just for this particular project or for any of your ESSER projects, please be sure to reach out to us. This is very, very important. The National Summer Learning Conference. As you were told yesterday in your launch meeting, the conference is coming up in October this month, and you can send up to 3 members from your district for free. They will cover the conference cost. But however, you will need to pay for the travel and for the room, and we will reimburse you as well for your meals. So what we're asking you to do, if you have not registered, we've already talked with them and they've given us an extension for this week. So to get everyone registered this week, if you have not done so, please do so. You can go ahead and begin making your reservations for your flights, for your rooms. We will be able to reimburse you for any expenses for the trip incurred after October 1. October 1 is the start date of this particular program. So if you have already paid for your plane tickets, or you already paid for your hotel rooms prior to October 1, those funds cannot be reimbursed. The start date is October 1. So even though you do not have your GANs, we're giving permission to go ahead and make those expenses, make those expenditures, and you will be reimbursed for those when you submit your claims. We ask that the attendees that are attending this conference, those directly involved with the planning and the implementation of the project. I believe on yesterday, she spoke specifically about even bringing in your community partners, if you have community partners that are working with the project. But we would recommend that you send those folks who will be working directly with FH1 360, because they're going to be working in this particular conference on your plans. So those who will be involved in implementing those plans are the folks we expect to see attending those conferences. Again, you can begin paying for this conference out of the first award. We're going to send you the $75,000. And we also say you use your district's travel and food per diem rates, submitting claims as you always do with your district, and we will reimburse you at that district's rate if it does not exceed that of the state. We're also asking for a list of the schools that will be involved in the summer learning program. I know we have a list of the 15 districts, but we're not sure which schools within the district will be receiving this particular project. So we'll ask you to send us an email that includes the name of the school district, the name of the contact person at that school, as well as that contact person's email address. Seems like we're at the end of our presentation. Are there any questions in the chat, Emily and Sydney?
No questions right now, but I'll let you know if any come in.
If you have any questions, either raise your hand or post your question in the chat. I have a question for you all, and you can just answer by raising your hand or in the chat. Has anyone paid for their travel already, before the October 1 start date? I'd like to know if we have anyone who will be outside of that. Ms. Rye, if you're referring to the spreadsheet for your schools, you can just send that to me in an email. That will be fine. Florence 3 has always purchased their tickets. Okay, your airfare was booked. Do you know if the actual payment has been made for that? So that's Florence 3. And Ms. Overstreet, you can place what district you're from, please.
Bamberg 3 for Phyllis Overstreet.
Okay. We have one question coming in. Yes, ma'am. We will send out the link for the recording and the presentations. I don't see any other questions coming in. Are there any other questions? As I said, you can drop in the chat box or raise your hand and Cindy and Emily will unmute you to speak. If not, please send any questions you have to our ESSER email. It's scesser@ed.sc.gov. That email is monitored pretty much every hour. So anything posted there, we will respond to it. And if you have any questions as it relates to preparing for the conference, that is a fiscal issue, feel free to give us a call or email us here, or if it's a programmatic issue, please reach out to FH1 360. If you have not registered for the conference, please try to do so by the end of the week.
We did get one question. Are these summer activities over and above the expected 20% set aside? I'm assuming for learning loss with ARP.
Yes, yes, ma'am. These funds are ARP-ESSER funds. However, they're part of the state reserve. So they are separate from your regular 90% flow through that you all received from the state. So this is a separate pot of money. It will be managed separately. It will be reported on separately. So these funds can be used to grow or expand the current programs that you have. But this is no way will change your allotment you got for your 90%. Okay, with that being all, we will adjourn. I'll actually stay around for just a few moments in case someone wants to ask me a specific question about their specific district. Emily and Sydney, if you can open up the mics in case someone has a question for me. And if you do not have a question, I appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping in, and let us know if there's anything that the Office of Emergency Programs can do to assist you in any of your ESSER projects. Have a great afternoon and enjoy your week.
That's what I was thinking.